time. We also concur with the findings that Dr. Kilgore has been, quote, a successful employee and has contributed to the scholarly and educational missions of the campus, end of quote. At the Center for African Studies, he wrote numerous successful grant proposals and played a leading role in developing our U.S. Department of Education Title VI application that was funded in the amount of $2.2 million, putting us on a sound financial footing for the next 4 years. In addition, he played a key role in conceptualizing and delivering our outreach and educational programs, as well as serving as the main organizer for our highly visible international conferences on campus. We hope that the Board of Trustees will follow the findings and recommendations of the committee, which the Provost concurs with, and that Dr. James Kilgore, quote, be allowed to continue to be employed by the university, end of quote. He is a tremendous asset to our programs, and we at the Center for African Studies are eager to have him back in our ranks.
Well, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out today. My name is Dee Fairchild Ruggles. I've been a longtime supporter of James Kilgore. He is my colleague in Temple Buell Hall and in many things, as are many of you. I'd like to thank you for your continued support over the past few months as we have faced some important struggles to defend academic freedom and effective, responsible governance of our university. And I believe that the James Kilgore case is a very important test of those policies and procedures. We commend the committee for their work and support both their findings and recommendations in regard to the specific case of James Kilgore. However, the committee has also made recommendations concerning the assessment of criminal background in the hiring process and suggested ways to change these methods in the future. And that part of the report is actually deeply problematic, for reasons that go far beyond this case and far beyond this campus. It is a national issue in which we are meddling with very little expertise. Specifically, the committee stated, and I'm going to read a long quote because many of you have not yet read the report. They stated that, and I quote, "It is time to end the practice that the vast majority of new hire appointments are made with no inquiry into criminal history and no evaluation of potential risk that may be posed by individuals with criminal convictions. Accordingly, the committee recommends that the campus develop a criminal background check policy that requires all new hires, excluding student appointments and a few categories of temporary appointments, to be subjected to a criminal history review. Where convictions are found, the committee recommends that the policy require an individualized assessment of whether the individual should be prohibited from holding the employment position at issue." That ends the quote. Well, the committee has made an important start in looking into these questions, but of course they are not a body with expertise in this issue. They're professors. Moreover, while the committee invited a number of people to give testimony about their experience in hiring James Kilgore in particular, they seem not to have called upon expertise regarding major changes in hiring policy. The committee's comments regarding campus security raises concerns. First, the implication is that virtually everyone with a criminal record poses a potential threat to the university, and this is patently absurd. Figures from the National Employment Law Project indicate that some 1 in 4 adults in the U.S. has a criminal record. I'm shocked to even say that out loud. And the question is, do all of these pose a threat to the U of I?
No.
No. Second, the rights of those with felony convictions should be considered because criminal background checks are a human rights issue as well as a security issue. I want to remind us that we are talking about people who have already been put through a process of law, been judged, served their time, who are we to retry them?
Yes.
Why should With policies such as this, we are effectively stating that every time anyone with any felony conviction goes up for a job, they have to be retried. They have to hire a lawyer to plead their case. And this is absurd. We are bypassing, we are undermining, we are disrespecting the courts themselves and the expertise that lies therein.
Yes.
The cities of Urbana and Champaign have already recognized this and passed human rights ordinances that specifically forbid discrimination on the basis of a person's criminal background. After all, these are not life sentences. Once a person has served his or her time, the sentence should end. Third, adding criminal background checks to the application process may deter faculty from seeking employment at our university. This is doubly true for the increasing number of people with felony convictions who have turned their lives around, obtained PhDs, and now offer their skills and experience to the job market. When 20, 30 years have passed and someone did something at the age of 17 or 18 and now they're a mature adult, we should recognize it.
Hear, hear. Amen.
We are concerned that that's just a human statement from me as a human being. We are concerned that there is a certain bandwagon dynamic operating here. The committee notes that a number of other Big Ten universities have adopted fairly strict criminal background check policies. But this should not compel U of I to follow suit. Are we to be followers or are we to be leaders? We are particularly disturbed that some university spokespersons, without naming names, it is the Associate Vice President for Human Resources, have linked the drive for criminal background checks with the Jerry Sandusky affair at Penn State. But if you know anything about that case, you know that no criminal background check would have yielded any meaningful impact on the actions of Mr. Sandusky or his employment. So it's a complete distraction from the actual issue. The national trend is moving away from tightening up on the hiring of people with felony convictions. Some 12 states and over 70 cities and counties, including Urbana and Chicago, have passed ban-the-box resolutions, outlawing asking questions about criminal background on job application forms, and laying out careful procedures for protecting the rights of people with felony convictions in the hiring process. In July of this year, Illinois became the 5th state to enact a ban-the-box initiative for all public and private sector jobs in the state. We recommend that the University of Illinois embrace this trend in keeping with the policy of inclusive Illinois. In conclusion, we agree that the committee's recommendations that more investigation and broader participation is needed before the University of Illinois adopts any policy on criminal background checks. We further recommend a thorough and public process of discussion and debate, a process that includes participation by legal and human rights experts, by faculty and staff representatives, and by organizations that represent the rights of formerly incarcerated people and those with felony convictions. Such a process should thoroughly consider the issue not only from the standpoint of public safety, but also in terms of the rights and conditions of employment for faculty in general. Thank you. Like my colleague Terry Barnes to say some words.
Okay, Terry. Good morning, everybody. So my name is Terry Barnes. I'm associate professor of history and gender and women's studies, and as James Kilgore's partner, I am also a longtime supporter of James. And I have to get my teacher voice on here. When my family and I returned to the U.S. from South Africa, we hoped for a quiet and uneventful reintegration. We did enjoy that for 5 years, and then once again, maybe not all hell, but some degree of hell broke loose. As has been the case throughout, many wonderful, principled people have rallied to our support, They've given their time, their energy, and their ideas to helping us find ways to cope with the attention. They've earned our thanks a zillion times over. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you all. Really, from my heart, thank you all so much. Now, we are nice people and everything, but I also know that all this wonderful support has also been given with a wider goal in mind. We are all interested in contributing to a larger public conversation about crafting better relationships between formerly incarcerated people and society at large. We live in a world that balances precariously between narrow-minded revenge fantasies on the one hand and generous attempts to consider healing and healthier ways to live together on the other. I hope that our experience will help to strengthen that conversation, even though it is very difficult. If I may speak for everyone here, we call on the Board of Trustees, and the reason we're here is because up there in that building somewhere is an office of the Board of Trustees, so that's actually why we're right here in front of the buses today. So if I may speak for everyone here, we call on the Board of Trustees to resolve the matter of reinstating James Kilgore positively this week and not to push it. And not to push it to yet another meeting in yet another month in what is going to turn out to be yet another year. So we have a few little pieces of paper that are circulating with some email addresses, and you can share them out between you to send an email to the Board of Trustees urging them to do this. The report that my colleagues have referred to is on the Public Eye website. That's publiceye with a little i.ucimc.org, and also the Inside Higher Ed website. My husband struggled to find a new place in the world where he can contribute his writing, teaching, and research skills and his workaholic habits to the cause of a more just society has found a good home in Champaign-Urbana. As for myself, as a tenured member of the faculty of this university, I want to thank the good people of Illinois, as I always do publicly in my classes at the end of every semester. As faculty, we are fortunate because we are required to think and to ask questions about power and justice and equality. Thank you for having faith in us and the traditions that value all the universities of this state as places where the boundaries of knowledge are tested rather than confirmed, and as spaces where skepticism rather than authority should flourish. We must find constructive ways to point out when the university falls short of these fundamental commitments, as we have with James Kilgore, Stephen Salaita, and with the foot dragging on negotiations with non-tenure track faculty, the GEO, and SEIU. And when the university does live up to its ideas of fairness and excellence in relation to its workers, its students, and to the wider public and the very diverse public that it serves, then we will say good job and hallelujah. We are not upholding our responsibilities to the people of Illinois if we settle for anything less from ourselves or from our institution. Thank you. Thank you very much. I believe that I'm our last speaker today, so thank you all very much for coming out, and please send emails to the Board of Trustees, and the struggle continues. And in South Africa, you know, they always end with a loud noise, so we'll end with a loud noise. Amandla, that's what I say, it means power, and then we get to learn a word of Zulu today. Okay, Ngawetu means to the people or to people. So I say Amandla and you say Ngawetu. Okay, you ready? Yes. You ready? Yes. Take a deep breath. Okay, so Amandla! Ngawetu!